All right. Hello, everybody, and welcome. Thanks so much for joining us tonight. For those of you who I haven't met before, my name is Erin O'Brien. I'm a Thermomix consultant and team leader based in Druin in Victoria. And my team and I are bringing you this virtual tonight on kind of budget cooking, money saving with your Thermomix. So our team is called the Mix Masters, and we're a team of consultants from all over Victoria. I have a couple of my team cooking alongside me tonight on behalf of the whole team, but a few more of us in the chat box as well. So please, if you've got any questions at all as we are going, pop them in the chat box. We are here to help you and to answer anything as we're going as well. So before we get started, I would love you to pop in the chat box and let us know perhaps where you are watching from tonight. And if you own a Thermomix, what model do you own? Pop it in the chat box and let us know. Or if you are perhaps thinking about getting a Thermomix, a TM6 or a TM7, let us know. But we will get straight into cooking tonight. I've got quite a few different things to show you that we're very excited about. But we're going to head over and meet Zoe, and she's going to get us kick-started.
Hello, everyone. My name's Zoe. I am a consultant based in Neil, Western Victoria. I am cooking tonight for you a pumpkin risotto with bacon. So we'll just get straight into that. I just popped it in my week on Cookadoo, so just go straight in. All right, so we will just grate up the Parmesan cheese. A little bit more than what was requested, but I tend to do that with cheese. The sound's probably going to cut out. Just right there.
So Zoom does mute us out for the noisier things like this one, but Zoe is just grating up that Parmesan cheese really quickly there.
The Parmesan cheese is all grated. I'm just going to pop that in a bowl and we'll set that aside for later on. That's all nicely grated. I'll pop 500 grams of water in. All right. About done. Pop the simmering basket in. And I'm going to put in our pumpkin into the simmering basket. I've got this all cut up in about 2 centimetre cubes there. It's a little bit more than 300, but that is fine. And I'll pop in, it says a tablespoon of olive oil, but I just measure with my heart. And a bit of salt. I also just do the same, save some dishes. Yes. And 2 pinches of freshly ground black pepper. Just going to do about that much. And we'll put the lid back on. And we'll set this going. It is going to be cooking at 120 degrees for 15 minutes. So I'll set this going and we'll roll over to the next person.
Awesome. Thanks, Zoe. So while that pumpkin steams away in there, we are going to go over and meet Taylor.
Hi everyone, my name's Taylor. Apologies for the croaky voice. I am based in Gippsland. I've just relocated back here from Outback, New South Wales, so that's a big change for me. Tonight I am cooking a Mexican stack with some homemade tortillas. So to start with, it's in my week already, so I can just click that one to start. Preheat the oven, which I've already done. My cafe is prepared. And the first step is to grate some tasty cheese, which I have some prepared here. And I look like I've got an assistant. No, he's going away. Perfect. And I've got to add some spring onions, which I have cut down. So I'll place them in there. Some parsley, just the leaves. Add it all in. Need garlic cloves. And put the lid on. And you pop that on for 10 seconds. Speed 5. Okay. Load that into bowls. That's all nice and chopped up. We'll pop that aside for later to sprinkle on the top. You don't need to clean the bowl in between this one, which is what I absolutely love. You pop, the next is some brown onion, which I've prepared and cut in half. It does say chilies. I'm personally not a chili person, so I skip that step. Add the other bits of clove, garlic clove, and pop the lid back on. And 3 seconds at speed 7. So it is quite loud, but obviously Zoom will cut that noise out for you. Scrape down the sides, make sure it all is down the bottom for the next step. Tablespoon of olive oil, which I'll just guess that one. And you pop the lid back on, but with the simmering basket due to the higher heat. So that will cook for 3 minutes, speed 1 at 120 degrees Celsius. So
Awesome.
whilst that's cooking, I'll pop that back to Erin.
Thanks, Taylor. So that is just at that 120 degrees, that is just sauteing that onion mixture down there. So while Taylor is free, hands-free to do anything else. So while that is cooking, I am going to start my recipe. Tonight I'm making one of the things I'm making for you is a caramel sauce. So this one uses the sugar stages function of the TM6. So those of you who might have a previous model to this, it won't be relevant for. The sugar stages is exclusive to the TM6 and obviously will be on the TM7 as well. But it's because of the increased heating capabilities. So your TM6 and what will be your TM7 go 40 degrees hotter than the TM5. So they really do get up to those, high temperatures that you can make caramels. You can brown meats and all those kind of things with the high heat function as well. But yes, this one specifically is the sugar stages and used for all kinds of sweet treats. But this caramel sauce is so cheap to make. It literally just uses water, sugar, and a bit of lemon juice. So if it's something that you are buying from the shops now, you can absolutely make it super easy and save some money there. So I am going, like the girls, I've planned it into my week. I'm going to pop in there. just have to find, I've got everyone's recipes there, plus the stuff I've made today. Caramel syrup. Let's keep going through there. And then you can, as always, have a scroll down and read the full recipe if you want. Read the hints and tips perhaps. Otherwise, you can just hit start cooking. So if you've cooked with the sugar stages mode before, you'll know that it is the one particular mode that your ingredients have to be spot on for. So I know we always say with these virtuals and just in general to remember that guided cooking is just a guide. The sugar stages mode is one that doesn't apply to. So in order for it to work, for you to get good results, you do need to follow the recipe exactly. So this is just reminding you of that, this screen. So it says just to set aside a heat-resistant, sealable, sterilised glass jar, which I have got ready here. And then to place a jug onto the mixing bowl lid. So literally, just taking off your measuring cup. Sorry, I should explain what I'm doing. And just sitting that on the top for the time being. And we're just going to use the Thermomix just to weigh a bit of water in there. So just 60 grams of water. I'm just watching my scales there. So the other thing that with your TM6 that allows you to do things like this is the accuracy of the scales. So our scales on our TM6 are accurate to 1 gram. Those of you with the TM5 will know that it's 5 grams, and a TM31 is 10 grams as well. So that increased accuracy, really allows you to have success with recipes like this as well. So then it's just telling us to set that jug aside, and then we are going to place 30 grams of white sugar in there. Just reading the risottos before that you all are trying too. That I haven't tried that skinny mixer one, Belinda, but it sounds good. So 300 grams of white sugar. You just want to make sure again that you're spreading it right around the base of your Thermomix and not just popping it all in one spot. There we go. Next again, we're going to put in 30 grams of water. Has anyone made this sugar syrup, caramel syrup or any kind of syrups like this before? Pop it in the chat box and let me know. And then 1 teaspoon of lemon juice. Actually, didn't grab a teaspoon of that. Because again, we do just want to be a bit more accurate with this. I would usually just squirt it in if it was any other recipe. But good to be accurate with our sugar stages. And then we're going to pop the lid on without the measuring cup. So that's a really important part of this recipe. And that's all set for us. So it's got 18 minutes set, the maximum temperature, which is that 160 degrees like we were talking about. And you might be able to see the spoon symbol. Hopefully you can see that clearly on there. And that is just that sugar stages mode. So that's automatically selecting it for us because we're in guided cooking. So I'm just going to turn the speed selector to start, and that is going to bubble away, cook away, caramelise away, and we'll come back when it's finished. But we'll go back to Taylor and she can continue on with her recipe for now.
Thanks, Erin. So my timer has finished, so that's stopped now. So I'll go to the next stage, take off the steaming basket and the lid, and it would like me to add some of the capsicum. I've got a full capsicum cut into pieces. Just add that in there. It's no specific measurement for this one, but it does recommend around 220 grams. The next one is a zucchini. Again, it does recommend 325 grams cut into pieces. Apologies, I've got a little apprentice chef that's decided to come out. So pull our zucchini into the Thermomix. And we add some corn kernel. So I buy the little tins because this is pretty much the only recipe I use it for regularly. So it's about 125 grams per tin, which is pretty much what it's asking for. And we pop the lid back on with the measuring cup and 5 seconds on speed 7. Again, it's loud, but you won't be able to hear the full sound. All done. Go on to the next stage, which is adding a can of kidney beans. So I've rinsed and drained these ones. So it's about 400 grams. You want to do it? Take it in. Good job, buddy. Put that down. Next stage is, yep, this one. Just add about 70 grams. Make sure it's paired.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's home.
Here it comes. Oh, no, that was spot on.
Mommy's for pizza.
And lastly, a can of
I'll do it.
tomatoes. Thanks for your help, Charlie. Want to pop it in? And good helping. Thank you.
Yeah.
So next we go with the spices. So we've got
Mom, what do
the cumin,
Dip it
cumin,
in.
whichever way you want to pronounce it. So 2 teaspoons of that. Good job.
I want to dip it there.
Okay, thank you. Good job. Next one is coriander. I personally don't use coriander in any of my cooking, just personal preferences. I'll go to the paprika.
I'll do it.
Thank you.
I'll do it first.
Thank you.
I'll hold this spoon.
Thanks.
I'll hold it.
Next step is 2 teaspoons of raw sugar. Oh, thank you, Tolly.
One go.
Yep, good job.
Again. One go.
Yep, 2 goes. Thank you. We've got some sea salt to taste. So I'll just pop a little bit in there. Yep, good job, mate. Pop it in. And place the simmering basket back on. So you take the measuring cup out.
I see it.
You can't see it anymore, babe. And then that will cook for 15 minutes at 100 degrees on speed 1.
Mommy.
Perfect. Go back. I believe we're going to Zoe.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Taylor, and your gorgeous little helper there.
Yes. Thank you.
No worries. This is one of the things that we all love about, or most of it, I shouldn't say all, many of us love about being a consultant is the ability to work it around our family, even if they are joining us for a late night virtual. All right, so we are going to go back to Zoe now and see where she's at to.
Hello, yes. My pumpkin has about 1:40 still to go. So if any of you girls have anything to show for the next couple of minutes, that's cool. Otherwise, I can chat away.
I reckon just stop it, Zoe. I reckon that'll be done enough.
Yeah, right, cool.
Yeah, let's swing it.
Yeah, so it's just cooling down at the moment.
So the TM6 as well, one of the kind of the newer updates is this extra cooling down time. So when you are cooking at higher temperatures and you stop it, or even if it's, stops itself, you will notice that it has about a 10-second countdown just to cool the bowl down a little bit, just as an extra safety feature.
Using my spatula with the hook to get this the simmering basket out of the bowl. Just popping the pumpkin to the side, and I'm going to get rid of this water. And the recipe does say to clean and dry. Ooh, sorry. Clean and dry the mixing bowl, but I'm just going to use my second bowl, which is part of the bundle deal currently, as well as multiple other things, which is brilliant. All right, so the recipe asks for 30 grams of shallots. Sorry, But I'm just using brown onion because that's just what I have currently. And I'm just going to put in a little bit more of that for a little bit extra flavour. It does change it a little bit. Shallots are a little bit nicer, but I'm just doing what I have in the house. So I've just chopped up the onion. That was speed fire for 5 seconds, and that's all chopped up, which is great. Don't have to get no more tears, which is fabulous. I'm just scraping the sides of the bowl, just getting all the onion back down to the bottom of the bowl. And then we're going to add in the bacon. Bacon in. And butter. Butter. Right. Going to pop the lid back on. And we're going to cook this bacon for 5 minutes at 120 degrees. And the onion, I should say as well. So we'll get that going.
Awesome. Thanks, Zoe. So again, some more hands-free cooking time that Zoe's just going to twiddle her thumbs for today. But normally you are free to do anything else with. While she's doing that, we are going to pop on over and see Jess.
Hey everyone, so I'm Jess. I'm based in Canova, and tonight I am going to show you another cost-saving hack, more of a pantry staple rather than a meal, but we're going to make some peanut butter. So like the others have done, I've already gone into my week and brought up the recipe here. What I have noticed too is there is a smooth peanut butter or a crunchy peanut butter. So our family is more crunchy, so I will be making that one tonight. But I just thought I'd mention the other one was there. So it's very similar, ingredients are the same, just a couple of different steps. One, we're going to take out some of the peanuts and keep them crunchy. One, you would just make it all smooth. So just as Erin touched on before, if we scroll down the recipe here, the hints and tips on this one is really important. It's just explaining about how you could go about making different nut butters. Like, as I said, if you want it crunchy, if you want it smooth. And yeah, just gives you a few tips that way as well as storing it too. But we'll just get to start cooking. So we need to put in 150 grams of dry roasted peanuts, unsalted. So you can use salted if you want. You can also add salt to it if that's what you prefer with your tastes. It does explain in the in some tips, which most people would notice if they've had homemade peanut butter, is it's not as sweet as the bought stuff, but it will explain to you in there how to actually make it sweeter as well if you want to. So we'll just pop that on there, pop the lid on, got a bit ahead of myself. And now we're just going to chop it up for 6 seconds, round on speed 8.
Has anyone made their own peanut butter before? Pop it in the chat box and let us know. Or any other nut butters. Obviously, you can make almond butter and all kinds of different things as well. So pop it in the chat box and let us know if you've ever made one before.
Yeah, so like almond butter, cashew butter, anything, all the ones that were in vogue a bit now is to buy, and they're quite expensive to buy, but not if you just buy the actual nuts. So that's like our crushed peanuts there. Now it's saying to transfer it to another bowl and set aside. The only bowls in my house that clean themselves are my Thermomix ones, so I'm just going to get another Thermomix bowl. This one is empty, and we will go again. So now we're doing the same. We get another 150 grams of the peanuts. Next, 2 pinches of salt. So whether you want to add salt or you don't, can't even see where I've put my salt now. I was going to add some, maybe I won't. Okay, just add a little bit of salt in there. And then we're just going to put the measuring cup on. And this time we're doing 30 seconds, round to speed 7. So it's just going to blend up. So
what Jess was saying then when she got cut off by the mute is it's just going to blend that up for us, starting to form that kind of more smooth, pasty-like, butter-like consistency. So yeah, that is doing its thing. That powerful motor of the TM6 can do all kinds of things. Is anybody, I haven't seen anybody in the chat box making their own butters or nut butters at the moment. Let us know if you are, or let us know if you perhaps how much you're spending on peanut butter, almond butter, any of those.
So as you can see there, that is just the peanuts. There's no added oil or anything like that. And it's already become like a smooth paste down there. Before I get that on my spatula like that. So it is quite a paste now. We're just going to scrape down the sides. It does say that you can add some unflavored oil if you want to, if you do find it's too thick for your taste. So I did grab some grapeseed oil out. That's always a good one. But we've just, all I've done is scrape that back down to the middle to the blades, and we're just going to go again. And now it's going to go 2 minutes, brown on speed 5. So it's just going to blend it up. I don't know if you can still hear me, but if we click on next here, we can just follow the next step so you can get other things organized as you're cooking. And I did you want the costings on this, Erin, while we're going?
Yeah, may as well.
So I was just going to say, I looked up the price of like bought peanut butter. Works out to be, because we're making about 300 grams here. So it isn't a lot of peanut butter, but it takes about 3 minutes to make. And because there's no preservatives or anything like that in it, it won't last as long as your shelf bought peanut butter. But 300 grams of this peanut butter is going to cost me about $2.20, and 300 grams of bought peanut butter, even from a larger jar price, was still going to cost me about $4.50. So it is a lot cheaper to make it yourself.
Yes, I know somebody who her husband loves peanut butter that much that she would pay for Thermomix repayments in peanut butter alone. They eat and make that much of it.
That's crazy, isn't it? And I'm sure if you did the costings of a cashew butter or almond butter or anything like that, it would actually work out to be cheaper again. Yeah, definitely.
Absolutely. And of course, you're cutting out any extra additives and preservatives as well.
That's right. And the sugar as well. You do have the option of putting it in there. Like, until you've tried this peanut butter as opposed to bought peanut butter, you don't realize how sweet peanut butter is.
Mm-hmm. But, I think it's always, I know that some people, when they purchase a Thermomix, they have trouble then with their kids perhaps adjusting to things like this. So, put in the sugar for the first couple of times and just slowly cut it back. Put
definitely.
in a little
and
less
I haven't
each
put
time
the
you
sugar
make
in
it.
this time, but I'll be using this peanut butter to make snacks where I'll be adding other sugar and that sort of thing to it as well.
Yeah,
so
perfect.
The kids won't They probably won't like this on toast, but they would be happy to have it in other snacks. So after our 2 minutes, that is our peanut butter there. So it's all nice and smooth. This is all you would be doing if you had, you can see there, it's like that's just the natural oils in the peanuts. It's given it that texture. I don't think I would, at this stage, I wouldn't add any extra oil, but because I am making the crunchy one, that would be the smooth peanut butter. You would have put it all in at the start and done it that way, but I'm adding back in my crushed up peanuts there. So add all them back in. A bit more around the blade. There we go. Go next. And it's just another minute now to mix all that in as well. So that's going to be the end of our peanut butter. It's that simple and easy to make. It's just about 3 minutes of our time.
Awesome. Maria's just asked in the chat box, Jess, how long it would last in the pantry for.
It says to put it in the fridge due to the fact that there's no preservatives or anything in there. And it does say on the recipe, I'm pretty sure it said like 2 weeks. But if you're anything like me and you need to find the recipe again, you can just click on those 3 buttons, go to recipe detail, and we can scroll back down here. And it says, oh, I missed, oh no, there we go. It doesn't actually say the other recipe. I'm sure it says 2 weeks in the fridge. But it says here, if you do need to make it sweeter, to add some vanilla extract and some maple syrup, and that will give it a good sweetness. So, but yes, I would say about 2 weeks in the fridge is what it recommends. So there, you can see here is our crunchy peanut butter. So a fairly thick consistency. If you did want it runnier, you could, you definitely could add some oil to it. But there it is in there. And that's done.
How easy was that? Awesome.
Very easy.
All right. Well, I'm just going to come back to me very quickly. Sorry, I'm going to butt in because it's perfect timing on my caramel syrup. It's just beeping now. So I won't really be able to hold it up, I don't think, without tipping it out, but you can kind of see that's caramelized in there now. So then the next step, it just tells us to keep the lid on, pop the measuring cup back in, and then it sets for 1 minute on speed 1. And it's just telling us that while that's running, to just slowly drizzle that. Remember that water we set aside at the very start? Just slowly drizzle that onto the mixing bowl lid so that it trickles in. So there's little grooves, I should have shown you first, sorry. Little grooves on your measuring cup that will allow just a small amount of liquid to run through it, or drip through at a time. So that's how you make like mayonnaise and things like that with like emulsifying. That is it. And yeah, just provides just that slow, steady stream rather than us pouring and putting a bit and a few drops. And so that is just going to mix in for the next 20 seconds. And then that's the caramel syrup done as well. How easy was that? And again, with very little hands-on time. And what would that cost us? Cents, really. Like a bit of sugar, 300 grams of sugar, a teaspoon of 2 teaspoons of lemon juice, was it? And water. That's it. So now it's just telling us to pour that into our glass jar and set aside to cool. So I'm just going to move that across a little bit. Let's do this so you can see. Obviously, you want to be very careful because it is very hot after that using that sugar stages mode. So that will thicken up even more as it cools. I'll show you towards the end when we're nearly finished. But there is our caramel syrup all done with that sugar stages mode. So we'll go back to Zoe for now, who's going to keep going with that risotto.
So the bacon and onion has finished cooking. Now it's just asking for some risotto rice. into the bowl on the right side. So pop that right in. And it's just saying to pop the simmering basket on top instead of the measuring cup. Now what Erin was talking about, there's little things in the measuring cup. So that just where it sits in the lid, it leaves little gaps. So that's what she was talking about there. So put the simmering basket on the top. And we're going to set this going for 3 minutes at 120 degrees. And that'll just saute that rice. Bacon.
Awesome. Thank you. And then just so we don't have to pop back again in a second, after that 3 minutes is up, Zoe's just going to, the next step is just adding a little bit of wine in with the rice and doing the same again. So just pouring in a little bit of rice and then putting it back onto saute for another minute. Yeah. So we will just stay with Taylor so we're not flicking back and forth, but she'll do that one off camera.
Yeah,
but we're
sorry,
go to Taylor.
to say that.
No, you're fine. Go to Taylor, who's going to assemble her stack for us.
It shouldn't take too long. I've already got this ready. So the mixture's ready. So that's all done now. It does request for some more fresh corn. I'll quickly pop that in there. And give that a quick mix with my measuring cup. Don't want that to go everywhere. For 5 seconds on speed 3. We give it a mix, and so the next is just assembling the stack. So I made some tortillas in advance. So I made them this morning during the busy morning rush. So they're nice and easy. It was just the flour tortilla on cookie dough. Costing for these works out to be $1.75 for 12 of them. Whereas at the shop, obviously, the brand I would usually go for an 8-pack is $5.50. So it is quite a significant saving making them yourself, but there's no issue getting them. But I personally like making them because the size of my dish is too small for the ones at the supermarket. So it's easier just to make them to size. So we go from here. So to start, you put flatbread in the base of the dish and pretty much just spoon the mixture. Lots of steam there. It says spoon. I like to just pour it in, save an extra dish. So I just pour that on. Ultimately, it's like a lasagna. You do a layer of the flatbread, you do a layer of the corn mixture, and then you put another flatbread on top and another layer of this. So personally, I like this recipe. It's nice and cheap. It's meat free. For me personally, it's great for lunches. My kids usually turn their nose up at anything other than meat and 3 veg. So it's always good to have an alternative for myself. So the stack itself is about just over $14 to make the entire thing, which works out to be 8 serves is $1.80 per serve. So it's a very cost efficient meal to have for lunches, just to grab and go. And as you can see, very simple to make. Too much
I know some people Sorry, Taylor.
No, that's all right. Go for it.
I was just going to say, I know some people give it a blend before doing this stage as well, especially those with fussier kids,
Yeah.
to hide that bit of corn and those veggies a bit more. So, like we always say, guided cooking is just a guide, and you can change it around to suit you. So, yeah, if you wanted to pop in, give it a blend, and hide those veggies a bit better. We all love our hidden veg, or most of us for kids, I think.
I've definitely done that when I served it to the kids first time, but yeah, my kids are probably the fussiest eaters. No, my kids are the fussiest eaters you'll ever come across. So we just, I tend to only make it for myself now. It's more of a lunch option, but that's just in our house. I know that a lot of other people have not as fussy children as me. We actually had the risotto that Jess is making tonight. Or was it Jess or Zoe? Zoe. So we actually had that for dinner tonight. So the favourite in our house, that risotto. So I've done all of the layers, and the final step for that is sprinkling the cheese that we grated up earlier with the spring onions, the garlic. So you just sprinkle that over the top. Again, very similar to making all lasagna. And then you pop that in the oven for, that's 14 to 16 minutes, which is quite precise. And then it just makes the top nice and golden and cheesy and bubbly. So very, very delicious meal. And that's my lunches done for the next week and a bit.
Awesome. Nice cheap lunches. All right. We'll come back at the end and see how that breaks up.
Perfect.
Thank you so much for showing us. All right. I just muted myself. We'll go back to Zoe and see where that she is up to.
Yeah, I've just added in the wine and let that cook for a minute. Now I've just popped in the water and a tablespoon of veggie stock paste, which I always have in the fridge. It's a bit of a staple to have if you haven't got that in your fridge. You should. And I'll pop some salt in. Just put a little pinch in. And it's just telling me to scrape the bottom of the bowl just to loosen up all of the rice. Just so that nothing burns and everything cooks evenly. All right, done that. And we will pop the lid back on with the simmering basket. And this is going to cook for another 8 minutes. So
awesome.
All hands free time.
Thank you. Can you let me know when that 8 minutes is up, and we'll flick back so you can put on your last cook time as well.
Yeah, easy.
Awesome. Thank you. All right. I am going to come back over here now. And the next one I'm going to show you a couple of really quick recipes to finish us off for the night now is a dip. So who is making dips with your Thermomix? And if you're not, you need to be. If it's something you're buying, let's change that tonight, because you are about to see how quick and easy they are. And they make so much more than you would get if you are purchasing it from the supermarket. So the one I'm going to make is a capsicum and sun-dried tomato dip. So I know one of those ones that you can buy from the shops in tiny little tubs. What was I going to say? And they're kind of like that gourmet one that are a bit more expensive as well. So like always, scroll down if you want to, but let's just start cooking. It is just confirming, because I didn't next on past the last couple of steps of that caramel syrup. It is just confirming that I want to cancel that recipe because it's still active, and I'm just going to say yes. And into our bowl now, we're going to place 30 grams of Parmesan cheese. So just roughly chopped Parmesan, popping that in there, and 1 garlic clove. So I know we often say, put in as much garlic as you like, but in a dip or something where it's raw, you really don't want to go overboard. Trust me on that one. It can be a bit spicy. And now we're just going to put 10 seconds on speed 9. So this will mute me out. I'll see you in 10 seconds. So are you making dips at the moment? Pop in the chat box. Let me know. Emma's made cream cheese with black garlic and oh, that sounds good. There are so many different cookie dough dips. So that is that Parmesan cheese all grated up there for us. So many different cookie dough dips. I didn't even get a spatula up tonight. That are so super quick and easy to make. And then obviously you can search the recipe community, import them from there with Cookie Dough. So one of the other features, or one of the many, many features of Cookie Dough in your TM6 is the ability to import recipes from the recipe community. So you can import it into guided cooking to use on your Thermomix as well. So in there now, we're going to put 100 grams of sun-dried tomatoes, popping them straight in. Next. And then half a red capsicum seeded and cut into quarters. So I've just kind of roughly chopped a red capsicum there, or half one. And then 120 grams of cashews. So popping them straight in there as well. 20 grams of olive oil. And where did I put my vinegar there? 10 grams of white vinegar. Next, we're going to pop the lid on. Just again, so that we're using the turbo function with this one. So our arms on the Thermomix automatically lock for your turbo function, just as an extra safety feature, because it's that really quick blast chop. So you'll see the turbo mode there, and down the bottom it's just telling us until a rough yet even consistency is achieved, repeat chopping 2 times, or if necessary, repeat chopping 2 times if necessary, turn speed selected to 5 to 7 times. So really what it means is do it how you like it. If you like a really chunky dip, do it less. If you like a more smooth dip, do it more, however you like. So there's 1 second chop, so it'll be noisy, and then go again. And you can just keep having a bit of a look. Okay, we might do 1 more. And then we can next on it automatically unlock, and that's the dip done. How quick was that? So much cheaper than store-bought, and super quick and easy without those additives and preservatives. There is our capsicum and sun-dried tomato dip. You could roast those capsicum too if you wanted to give it a little bit of extra flavour. Have a bit of fun with it. I'll pop that in a bowl, and then we might, while Zoe's still cooking away there, we might head over to Jess.
All right, so I was just about to get into my recipe, and of course it deleted itself. It's really good like that now. I'll just really quickly research it here. But I'm going to make yogurt tonight and put that on, because that is another huge money saver for us. Hang on, that'll be quicker. Go back here. Sorry about that little mix up. Here we go. So I'm going to make some creamy vanilla yogurt, and I'm going to let you in on a few of my hints and tips when making yogurt. So has anyone made yogurt before? I know that yogurt is a huge money saver, and people can pay for their Thermomixes just in yogurt alone. So if we just click on start cooking, we'll get going. So a main thing that I like to do is do a really good clean of the bowl. So I do a vinegar wash, which is a litre of water and some vinegar, and I just do 8 minutes on Varoma for speed 4, just to clean out all the oils, everything like that from your normal cooking, which can actually affect the way the yogurt will set. So it's asking me to now put a bit of yogurt in a small bowl, but I don't bother because it's just more dishes. So I'll go on. So it's asking for a litre of full cream milk. A really good time-saving and money-saving hack is to use UHT full cream milk. So I'll just pour that straight in. I'll show you here in a minute how that is the time saver. So the money saver is that it is a cheaper version than buying fresh milk. If you do get fresh milk cheap or on sale, or you need to use it up, by all means use that. This is just a nice quick time saver. It's asking for half a vanilla bean pod. I actually make my own vanilla bean paste, another really good money saver type thing as well. So I'm just going to put in like half a teaspoon of that. Because I'm putting in the paste, I'm not actually going to remove it like you would a vanilla bean pod. And so it does leave a few little brown specks in the yogurt, but even my kids are now used to it that they don't mind. All right, so now it's time to go without the measuring cup and to actually heat the milk to 90 degrees. Sorry, 80 degrees. And then we're going to have to cool it down back to 45. Because we're using UHT milk, we can actually skip this step because it's already heat treated. So we just go back to the home screen here and scroll across to all our modes. What I'm actually going to do is just go to the warm up function and I'm going to go back to 45 degrees because that's what we wanted the temperature to be to begin with. And I'm just going to go there to now actually warm up the milk. So we don't have to heat it up to 80 degrees. And then, so the step in the recipe would be to heat it up to 80 degrees and then leave it for about an hour and a half for the mixture to then cool back down to 45 degrees. I'm not sure about you, but I don't actually have time to do that. I want to do things as quick as possible. So this is my time-saving hack for you because this will just take a couple of minutes to heat all of the mixture up for us. So you'll see above the 45 here, there's nothing there as yet, but as the mixture starts to warm up, you'll see it's the Thermomix will show the temperature of the liquid on top of the temperature we're trying to get to. So you can see, you probably can't see it on the screen there now, but it is saying 37 degrees and we want to get to the 45. So it won't take too long to warm up this mixture for us. If you don't want to do the step, you don't have to.
Sorry, Jess, we might just pop and see if Zoe's ready for us. I think she might be by looking at it. So Zoe's just going to put on our last step. We're probably only about 5 minutes off finishing, guys. We're nearly there. So we'll go to Zoe. She can put on her final step of her risotto. We'll finish the yogurt and then we'll go around and see all the meals.
Yeah, so I'll pop in the pumpkin that we cooked earlier. So I'll just pop that straight in the bowl. I'm a bit like Jess. The recipe did say to pop the pumpkin in a bowl and sit it to the side, but I don't like dishes either. Let's grab those out of the freezer. I'll add in 60 grams of frozen peas. You can use fresh, but obviously most people have frozen peas in their freezer. So that's good. Next, and we'll put the lid back on with the simmering basket and that will cook for another 5 minutes.
Awesome. So that's the final step, cook step of that risotto. So we will come back in a minute. After that cooks, and we always just leave our risotto for about a minute or so, or a few minutes, just to absorb the last of the liquid. So when it says it's finished, if it looks a bit too kind of almost soupy, don't put it on for extra time. Don't be worried that it's not cooked because it will sit there in that warmth and continue to absorb the liquid and then it will be cooked to perfection. If you cook it a bit longer, you'll end up with an overcooked gluggy mess. So that will cook that 5 minutes now. Then Zoe will leave it for a minute while we finish with Jess and then she'll serve it up and we'll come back and see it. But we'll go back to Jess now and finish that yogurt.
All right, so it's got to 40 degrees, but I'm just going to stop it there. As I said, you don't actually need to do that step. With the UHT milk, you can just go from room temperature. We'll just click back on our little bookmark back here. It will take us back into the recipe. So this is what I was explaining before. It's just saying that we need to let the mixture cool to 45 degrees. And now it's saying we can remove the vanilla bean pod. As I put in the paste, we won't be removing it. Although it does say to scrape the seeds back into the bowl. So it's very similar to what we've done. Now it says to add a little bit of milk to the yogurt. I don't bother because I haven't put it in another bowl. And so then to add the yogurt mixture. So we needed 55 grams. So I just go back to the scales, which you can go back through from the 3 little dots, and I'll just add in the 55 grams now. So you can use any yogurt that you like, usually like a pot set yogurt, or one that at least has the live bacteria in it when you read it in the ingredients. So I've got the 56 grams there. Click next. Now it's asking for full cream milk powder. Now it's really important to use full cream milk powder, else it doesn't work as well. We prefer like a thicker yogurt, so I actually double the milk powder. So I will put in 100 grams of the milk powder, and that just makes a thicker, sort of more like pot set sort of yogurt than the runnier sort of ones. All right, so we'll go next. You can put in some caster sugar. This is optional. Again, just because the kids are having it and everything else has sugar in it, like we were saying before with the peanut butter, I do end up adding the sugar in. I probably should start reducing the amount that I put in, but a little bit I find doesn't matter too much. Also, because I have increased the milk powder, I'm just going to increase the time a little bit just so it all mixes in well.
I think even with that bit of sugar, Jess, it would still be a lot less sugar than your store-bought yogurt anyway.
Yes, that's right. Yeah. So this is going to make, it's only 40 grams in the whole litre. So as you can see here, it just looks like milk for now, but this will become yogurt. So it's saying now that we can divide it between 8 yogurt jars. I should have grabbed them out. You can get them in the mix shop, and all 8 will fit in the Varoma. Or other things you can use. I've often used this glass container, which has a clip-on lid that holds 1.5 litres. That fits in the Varoma. Another option you can do is just the white thermoserver. This actually fits in the Varoma as well. So you can pour it all in there and go and just do a whole big job lot of yogurt. However, tonight, because I'm mainly making this for the kids, I have the reusable pouches. So I'm actually just going to pour it straight into the pouches, save me double handling and doing it into a glass container or anything. I also got this cute little funnel from the Cherub Baby where I got my pouches. And it works really well for getting the yogurt in there. So these pouches hold about 120 to 130 mils, and we just seal them up like that. And that's one done. Now I won't bore you and fill up all these. This will make about 12 or so little pouches. You don't need you can just pour straight in if you want, but the trick is to not overfill them either, like that one a little bit, so that you can do them up. Let's do maybe one more. So yeah, as I said, you just go through and you can do any sort of little containers. If you've got little snack containers, as long as it's got a lid and it's sealable, you can, and it'll fit in the Varoma, you can make yogurt in it. So I'll just do those 3 there just for time's sake. And then we're going to rinse the mixing bowl and start again. But again, of course, here's one I prepared earlier. And we're going to pop in 250 grams of water. So we'll just pour that straight into the bowl. There we go, press next. And now it is asking us for some lemon juice. So the 30 grams of lemon juice is just to ensure that because it's going to be going for 10 hours, you just don't want any the water to rust or anything in the bowl. So the lemon juice just prevents that. Now we are going to pop the lid on. And we're going to pop the Varoma on top. So this is where it was really important that your container you're making the yogurt in fits in. So just as an example, if we were using the white container, that fits in perfectly. The lid will go on. That works. Another trick I'll let you in on is I use my whisk there on the bottom. I just sit it on the bottom of the Varoma there, so that when I put all these pouches in, because they're flat, I don't want them covering up all the holes on the bottom to let the heat through, because then only the bottom ones would actually ferment very well. So I just pop the whisk in there, and then you can start layering them in on top. So you can see them all just going on top with the whisk underneath, just kind of adds to the airflow and the heat flow in there. Once we have them all in, we just need to put the lid on top like that. And then it'll just now ferment for 10 hours at 70 degrees, and we just let it go. So it's really important that you work out your timing well, that you usually want to put it on when you go to bed, so that in 10 hours time, you'll wake up to yogurt in the morning. So when you wake up in the morning, they won't be this runny, but you will just put them in the fridge for a couple of hours, and then they're right to go. So it's as simple as that. And I'll be able to get 12 of these pouches all done for about, I think I worked out about $4, and that's doubling the milk powder, everything like that. And normally these pouches are costing me about $2 in the supermarket, so each. So it is a saving of about, roughly, if you can get things on special, it's about $20 per batch that I can save just in yogurt. And the rate that my kids eat them, I can make this a couple of times a week and save an absolute fortune. So that is as simple as making yogurt. We just have to let it go now, and it goes all day. So you don't have to make it at nighttime, but remember, if you do make it during the day, you can't use your Thermomix for 10 hours. So that does often become a bit of a problem for people. So that's why it is common for people to make it at nighttime. But
Awesome.
yeah, it's simple as that.
Thanks, Jess. Yeah, yogurt really is such a huge money saver for so many people. If you're buying it at the moment, have a little think about how much you could save if you're making it from scratch yourself. And yeah, like Jess said, you can literally make it in anything that is food safe, has a lid, and fits in your Varoma. So don't be put off if the recipe says, you need the glass jars, because you can literally do it in anything. Awesome.
And don't forget to save some. So don't forget to save some of the yogurt, because that's your starter for next time. You only need 55 grams of it, but just make sure. I always have to get angry with my kids when they get close to the end of the big containers, that we need some to start the next lot. So just don't forget to save it, and it's even cheaper.
Absolutely. So yeah, when you start making yogurt, you buy your first little tub as a starter. And then, yeah, I always, just as a habit, when my yogurt is set out of the fridge, put some in a little container straight away, so that I know that it's ready for the next batch. But awesome. Thank you so much, Jess. Thanks for cooking with us tonight. We will leave you with filling your yogurt. Could you just let everyone know your Instagram, Facebook, if anyone wants to follow along?
Yep. So I am Thermilife on the Farm on both Instagram and Facebook.
Amazing. Thank you so much again for cooking with us. All right, let's go over and see Taylor's stack. We're just going to have a look at everything, and then we're all done, guys. Thank you.
All right, let's have a look. It looks nice and golden, very bubbly, which is what we wanted.
Yum.
So yeah, very nice and golden, which is what we like. And for serving this, I pretty much just cut it like a cake. Sometimes it can get a little bit messy to actually get it out of the dish. Depends on the day.
Probably will be a little bit messier when it's so hot straight out of the oven.
Yes, it definitely would be, but I tend to just cut it into slices, and got my containers already. My
Perfect.
lunch.
Love a bit of meal planning. Good job.
Yes. So, and then yeah, falling apart a little bit there, but you get the gist.
Amazing. It's so good, guys. If you haven't
Pretty
tried
much
that
like
one,
a lasagna.
give it a go. It is a delicious and super cheap recipe to make. Yeah, just without perfect for a meat-free Monday. And yeah, I think you'll love it.
And it does say to serve with some sour cream, which I sometimes, when I'm treating myself, I have some add some mashed up avocado too. So it's a very yummy option for lunches for me.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Thank you for sharing that with us tonight,
No
Taylor.
worries.
A big shout out to Taylor. It's her first cooking class with us. She's only recently joined the team. So thank you for cooking with us. I really appreciate it. You've done an
Thanks for
amazing
having
job.
me.
And if anyone wants to follow you on social media, where can they find you?
I've just got Instagram for the moment, and it's Kovac
Yep.
Kitchen.
Awesome. Thank you so
Yeah.
much. That was Kovac Kitchen, guys, if you're
Kovac,
wondering.
yeah.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Right, let's go back to
Thanks,
Zoe
Zoe.
and see the risotto.
Yeah, so risotto is done. I have let it sit for a minute, and I've added a little bit of Parmesan cheese, and that helps it also thicken a little bit as well. Yeah, and this is what we're looking like. So yeah, that'll be nice for tomorrow night's dinner.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Zoe. That risotto is part of our autumn savings guide, which I will actually endeavour to email out to everyone. I'll send an email tomorrow to everyone that's registered with a couple of different savings guides and links that I think you might love. But that risotto is a great one to make this autumn, especially as pumpkins are coming into season too.
Mm.
Awesome. Thanks so much for cooking with us, Zoe. What is your social media?
I am Thermixo on both Instagram and Facebook.
Awesome. Thank you so much for cooking with us tonight. I'm going to come back.
Thanks for watching, guys.
All right. And here obviously is that dip that I made. So as you can see, it makes a huge amount compared to those tubs that you buy in the supermarket. So that was, yeah, capsicum and sun-dried tomato dip, and that caramel sauce as well that used the sugar stages mode. So some really great recipes, I think, tonight, guys, that will help you save money with your Thermomix. I know that a lot of you have a TM6, but those of you who don't, you can see how that having a TM6 in your kitchen and changing the way you perhaps shop and cook will save you so much money. Your Thermomix will be paying for itself in no time at all. As you're aware, we do have an incredible bundle offer running at the moment, where you will receive the glider board that we've all had them on, a second bowl set, which we have all used tonight, a cutter, a spiralizer, a blade cover peeler, and 12 months free subscription to Cookidoo as well with our TM6 run out offer. We do also have a trade-in offer running at the moment as well, where you can trade in your previous model Thermomix and receive a discount on a TM6, and you can also trade in other kitchen appliances as well. So if you're interested in that or want to learn more, please reach out to your consultant. We would love to answer your questions there and explain it a little bit further. But otherwise, thank you. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. Thank you to the girls from my team for cooking with me. I absolutely love cooking with them, and we hope that you love and enjoy these virtuals and really learn something to help get the most out of your machine. If joining the team is something you have ever thought about, please reach out and let us know. We're happy to answer any questions. We would love you to join us. We really do have great fun. We get the most out of our Thermomix and yeah, meet some new people as well. So again, thank you so much for joining us. Hope you've enjoyed tonight's class. This will actually be I was thinking before, our final TM6 class, which is a little bit sad, I think. We do have a couple more demos running before the end of the month, but then we'll be using the TM7 next month, which is very exciting. So we look forward to bringing you that. Please keep your eyes peeled for more virtuals in the future. We'll see you all soon. Thank you.